This is the fourth video about the UFO encountered by the US Navy and US naval pilots. I just made a video about 2 hours and 25 minutes ago talking about if the US naval pilot hear any sonic boom when that UFO took off at hypersonic speed. There's another thing I want to discuss is that when those pilots in the F-18 on the U.S. aircraft, when they took the picture, the thermal imaging picture of the UFO, when that thing took off, unfortunately, they lock on the thermal imaging camera on the UFO and then it took off. If there is a way to follow that object at hypersonic speed and take a thermal imaging camera and see if there's a temperature differential from the front of the UFO to the back of the UFO, if there's a temperature difference. Because if that thing travels at hypersonic speed and it's in contact with the air molecule while in Earth's atmosphere, then because the air friction will cause a huge spike of temperature at the direction of travel. For example, you know, when everybody know when the U.S. shuttle, USA's NASA shuttle, going from outer space into Earth's atmosphere, because of the air friction and because of the incredible speed, the bottom gets really, really hot, like a couple thousand degrees. I think Fahrenheit or Celsius. Anyway, but NASA put tiles, ceramic tile at the bottom of the shuttle to protect it from burning up. Unfortunately, that's what happened to the Columbia. The tile fell off and then it burned a hole through the Columbia, and then the whole space shuttle disintegrated and killing everybody on board. But I'm interested to know if that UFO traveled at hypersonic speed. For example, the one that Commander Favor saw and his co-pilot saw back in 2004, that thing traveled 60 miles in mere seconds. In my previous video, I calculated 60 miles in 7 seconds is Mach 40. Can you imagine that UFO traveling at Mach 40 without any protection and then going through the air? That thing will get so hot because the air friction, it will disintegrate. So there are only two theories I can think of. They have some sort of material that can withstand that kind of high temperature at that speed, at Mach 40. Okay? Unfortunately, we don't have a thermal imaging camera that can lock onto the UFO while traveling at hypersonic speed and be able to get close enough to see if there's a temperature gradient from the front of the UFO to the back of the UFO. The other thing is, like I said in the previous video, in the third video, is that it has some sort of deflector shield that is pushing air molecule away, and that deflector shield probably extend miles long, miles and miles. Okay, so it's essentially that UFO traveling through a tube of vacuum in Earth's atmosphere, or the space bubble that it's creating by the engine that they're using is essentially making the space-time inside the bubble to be normal. Even though outside you're traveling at Mach 40, inside you're standing still. Inside the bubble, it's completely calm. You're gonna feel any air resistance. You're not gonna feel any wind. You're not gonna feel the breathing of air, wind or a breeze of air. So everything inside the bubble is completely calm, even though they think that UFO travel at Mach 40, and everything outside is at Mach 40. That's the other explanation I can give. That also explains that if it's quiet, it doesn't create sonic booms. And he also explained that that thing doesn't heat up at Mach 40. I heard that U.S. Air Force a couple of years ago, they were testing hypersonic missiles, and that thing, when that thing traveled through the Earth's atmosphere, it got so hot at the tip of the missile, it basically just disintegrated the entire disintegrated the front cone of the missile, and the whole missile just disintegrated. And I was watching that YouTube video. Somebody at the bottom of the comment said, "You need deflector shields, just like what you have in Star Trek, or any of the science fiction TV series." So that's another thing I'm thinking about. So if that thing is quiet, if that UFO is quiet, that means it's traveling through a vacuum, and they have some sort of technology that pushes away the air. And of course, second is the temperature. If it's completely cool, that means it's not contacting with the air at Mach 40. So that's it.